Welcome to Marketecture, where you can get smart fast with in-depth interviews of leading technology vendors. I'm Ari Paparo. I'm joined today by Adam Markey, the Director of Product Management for Roku ad platforms. Thanks for being here, Adam.
And thanks for having me, Ari.
I think data is the interesting story here. So you mentioned the Roku IDs. Obviously, you have a unique ID associated with the device, including billing relationships. So it's very deterministic what you know about a consumer on your device. What granularity do you allow your customers to use on OneView is my first kind of area of question. What value added are you attaching to it? So are there other data sets? I have a lot of questions. The third general question would be like, how does it work off Roku devices? Does it add any benefit or value if I'm buying inventory that's not on a Roku? Let's start there.
Yeah. This is great. This is probably one of my favorite topics. So the Roku identity, right? It's built from our source of, we just released this at CES a couple of days ago, 70 million active streamers on the platform, have that deterministic first party relationship with Roku with more than one device sometimes, right? And also there's a large percentage of those, I don't think we give those numbers away publicly yet, of mobile app users that are, using their mobile phone as a Roku remote. We just released some smart home technology over the past year. So, people are logging into their smart devices and things like that. And also you can get the Roku channel on not just Roku devices or the Roku app, but other streaming platforms as well. So we do exist in Amazon. We do exist on Samsung and other places. So the Roku footprint is not just on every Roku device. However, primarily Roku devices is where we source that. And obviously we have that first party billing relationship. We have credit cards on file. We have, kind of a payment system, which helps us, number one, keep the data pretty up to date and make sure that, things match well. Right. And number two, we also have a breadth of data that we can have access to that's tied to that ID. Right. So you have data that comes from two types of devices. You have our Roku TVs, right, which have the operating system at its core. But the key differentiator there is that we have an ACR panel, right? So anything plugged into the HDMI, we're able to understand what's running from an advertising perspective or a media content perspective. We own our own ACR technology through the acquisition of a Nielsen AVA. So, and we're actively maintaining all of that and building that, which is a big differentiator. If you're kind of looking out there, there's no other place where you can get this ACR technology in the data set.
It's a patent minefield.
It is, and we have those, which is fun.
So when you mentioned HDMI, like, are you using the ACR on programming that's not coming through your device?
So we're using ACR for everything on the HDMI ports coming in, right? So if you plug in your set-top box, or you're looking at your linear feed, it's mostly for that. We don't use ACR in our streaming setup, right? It's technically possible, but our relationships with a lot of the apps and the platform and all of that kind of preclude us from like kind of peering into what those apps are doing. However, we do understand the behavior of our streamers within the platform. So we know what types of apps, what genres of apps you're using, how long you're using them, and things like that. Right. And when you're logging in. So it's really a combination of that ACR data and that streaming behavioral data and what somebody is doing on the Roku that, creates a very differentiated data set for us.
Thanks for listening. To hear the complete interview, subscribe at marketecture.tv.